Welcome back, people. In this video, we're going to be talking about Boolean operators. So what is a Boolean? Well, basically, it's not just a Python-specific concept. It's a programming concept in general, and it consists of two items. One is true, one is false. Now, in a lot of programming languages, you typed true as T-R-U-E and false as, you know how to spell those, but you'd spell them all lowercase. Python's different, so let's explore that a bit. Can open up terminal here and launch a Python 3 console, and we're gonna just print out true, and it's gonna return true. This is not in quotations. Make sure when you're typing true and false for truth checking that you're typing true and false and not like this, because that will return a string, which is true. Yeah. So let's talk about what these operators do basically, and we're going to get into comparison operators a bit later, which is like checking if something is equal to something or more or less than, or if it even exists, or if it's a certain type. And so you can basically perform different actions on different types of data, and that's why it's necessary to do some fact checking with that. So we need the true and false in programming. However, we can explicitly declare true and false like we've just done by just typing true or false, or we can generate it in other ways. So let's have a look at some of the ways we can generate a true or false. So let's type 5 equals 5. That's true. Now, when you're comparing two objects and you're checking if they're equal to each other, you can't type that because the single equal sign there is used for a different purpose in programming. It's used to assign a value to a variable, and we'll go over that here soon as well. So when we're comparing to check if two numbers or two strings are equal to each other, we need to put two equal signs. So you'll see that returns true. So let's go ahead and 5 equals 4. That's going to return false because, of course, we've all been through grade 2 math, and we all know that 5 is a little larger than 4. Now you can also do this with strings and also without using equal signs at all. You can actually type 5 is 5, and that will return true. And you can type 5 is not 5, and that will equal false. So basically you're saying 5 is not 5, and Python is saying, well, that's false. So you could type 5 is not 6, and that will return true. Now, again, you can do this with strings as well. So you can type this is this, and this is going to compare both of these strings to see if they're equal to each other, and it's going to return true because, yes, it is. Now, we can also do this. True is true will return true because, of course, true is true. Now, that last one is a bit of a obvious result. So let's go ahead and compare this with this. If you think this will return true because we're comparing true and true, the results will not be as obvious as you expect because one of them is a string and the other one is a Boolean operator. So not only when you compare two items is it checking if the value is equal, it's also checking the type of data that it is. So if we wanted to make the above statement return true, we would have to convert true into a string. So just like you would convert a number into a string, you can just wrap the Boolean operator in the str function, and it will convert it to a string prior to the comparison, and then it will return the result of true is true, which equals true. Now, true and false, again, they're going to come up in the if-else statements, because that's where we're really going to do some error checking and make sure things are set and that they're not just not equal to each other. And you're going to see more practical uses of Boolean operators later on. But this was just to show you guys what true and false is. And again, you should already know this without a programming background. So, in the next video, we're going to be looking at Python's version of arrays, which are called lists.